right, so this is probably where we're spending the most time on before we get into Colter Wall. I hate this Billboard article so goddamn much. So if you haven't seen it, there's a Billboard article out that, I don't know, some chick wrote, and because she very smugly like shared some tweet of saying like Kane Brown sucks, like, oh, all these people just don't, understand Kane Brown and blah blah, like that bullshit of every fucking pop country artist has the same argument of just like, it's changing, it's different, it's doing its own thing, and it's just like, it doesn't mean it's good, doesn't mean it's country. But
yeah, I hate the people that dismiss, because like I understand how annoying it can be to constantly have people be like, well, that's not country, that's not country, that's not country. Like, I get it. I don't want to be that guy that's constantly just like, oh no, but that's not country. But at the same time, you can't dismiss the argument saying that it doesn't have any merit. Like, saying factually that Kane Brown's music is not country does not actually say anything about the quality of the music. Nor does it say anything about him and his race, because that's the other thing that she fucking said. Like I'm sure you were going to bring up.
So I'm just going to read this fucking quote, because the whole thing was dumb. It was all just like, he's dressed in his open flannel shirt and his diamond-studded earrings and whatever, like, just describing him like, guess what, he's black. Like, we get it. I don't care. But so there's this 2 paragraphs that I read, and that just was over the line of how stupid it was. It says, but the CMA Awards shafted Brown this year. He wasn't even nominated. It certainly felt political. And then he says, there's a contingency that looks at certain acts and says, that ain't country. And I think it happened with Kane, says Randy Goodman, chairman and CEO of Brown's label, Sony Music Nashville. Well, before I continue, yeah, because it's not country. And so that is what happened to Kane, because it's not country.
Yeah, but to complain that like, oh yeah, they were like, this isn't country, so we can't have it. Yeah, those are the same people that fucking have Florida Georgia Line winning all sorts of shit. So that's also a nonsense argument.
Yeah. So continuing on, Kane is African American and he has tattoos. Maybe that's not culturally what they think fits.
Yeah, because no one else in country music has tattoos nowadays.
No, there are no tattoos. Even Keith Urban, no tattoos on his neck. He's just a straight up dude.
Fucking Jason Aldean won like back-to-back Entertainer of the Year, and no other tattoos. Than the fact that I
Those are
hate
henna.
All of his music during that stretch, no tattoos on him.
Brantley Gilbert doesn't have 2 giant guns in the Second Amendment tattooed on his back.
Definitely
That's
not a full sleeve on his left arm. Nope.
Not at all. No, fucking tribal tattoo, man. That ain't a tribal tattoo.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, tribal man. He got that name for his tribal heritage.
For having... Wait, I was going to say smushed face, but that's a different guy. They're all the same. And then he continues on with a quote from Jimmy Allen. We've been systematically programmed to let stereotypes lead the way, says Brown's tour mate Jimmy Allen, who, as a black country artist, has encountered plenty of them himself. Because the stereotypical country guy is supposed to be from Georgia and is supposed to be white. What? No one has ever...
The only thing that I would say to give him credit for that line about stereotypical country dudes, I do have to say so many of the modern country, quote, country dudes are just fucking white dudes with backwards hats wearing white t-shirts. That part is true.
It's very true, yeah.
But that's not saying this is the only thing that's allowed. Fucking Darius Rucker shit all over Wagon Wheel, and everybody loved it.
Yeah.
So what the fuck?
And I hate the argument of like, do you know Charlie Pride? Because it's like that whole like I have a black friend type argument. It's like, yes, we know Charlie Pride existed, and Charlie Pride faced actual racism. He played in the literal Negro League baseball league. And they wouldn't show his face for the first however many years. I did a report on him in college. They didn't show his face for the first however many years of his career because they were afraid that if people knew he was black, they wouldn't listen to him. That is not a thing anymore.
See, and that's the thing. The reason bringing up the Charlie Pride thing is a valid argument, though, is exactly for that reason. If you're going to talk about racism in country music, you have to talk about people that have had that happen to them before, where it actually happened, like in Charlie Pride's case. Coming out in 2018, where in the pop realm, the pop and rap realm, every single fucking super popular megastar is all of color in some way.
Yeah.
To say today in 2018 that racism is holding people back. Yeah, there's racists out there. I'm sure there are racist country fans out there.
Sure,
I guarantee they are.
Yeah, I am sure there have been concerts that Jimmy Allen have been in when he was a nobody, just opening for God knows who, where someone's like, "Oh my God, that Negro's on the stage." I'm sure there have been those dumb fucks, but that is not what's holding you back from winning AMAs,
Yeah,
CMAs,
they're not a
or
controlling interest in the world today.
And the thing, wasn't it you that sent me a screenshot of like some Kane Brown thing where it's just like, well, maybe I'll get nominated next year. He is just a little bitch who wants to be nominated for shit, and he's gonna
doing
throw
the Justin
every
Lynch
card he can. Yeah, he's doing it. It's so fucking stupid that he's such a whiny little bitch who wants his award that he's just like, well, it's probably racism.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like this is like a perfect move. If you're like Kane Brown's publicist and all your goal is to get his name out there and get him more action, this is a perfect move. You'd be like, yo, you say it's racism, and then everyone's going to jump. Everyone's going to look at it, and then that in today's climate of saying something's racist and you don't need proof, perfect. People are going to take it and fucking run with it.
It's just like the I don't know if you saw this because it was on a nerd website that I read. How Disney is pushing Black Panther for Oscars, but they're not even bothering with Infinity War, even though Infinity War is the far superior movie. It's just like it just goes to show that it's like they're just trying to win the diversity award. Like, if you don't vote for this, you're racist, and that's the whole thing Kane Brown is doing right now. Is if you don't vote for me, you're probably racist. Like, no, we're not. We just don't want to vote for shitty music. Granted, shitty music is winning awards in Nashville, so that's not really an excuse. But
yes.
But the reason why I was saying that the Charlie Pride thing is kind of the I have a black friend argument is because there are people today that are better African-American, black, whatever, country artists than him. There's Charlie Crockett, who's a mix of every goddamn race. There's
I don't even know what he is. He's something.
Yeah, I was reading about him, and he's like white, Latin, Jewish, and black. Like, he's everything. It's crazy. But like Cajun
and he's
and
tremendous.
Shit. Yeah. So you got Charlie Crockett, you got Rhiannon Giddens, who has
pipes.
Yeah. Then you have like Mickey Guyton. You have Tony Jackson, who we were talking about earlier. You have Aaron Vance. There are these amazing country artists out there. And I said in our post, I was like, if anyone can use the race card, it's them, because they're not only are they not selling out arenas like you are, or amphitheaters, or whatever the fuck Kane Brown is selling out. He's selling that shit out. These guys are playing little honky tonks because no one wants to hear them because it's real country music. They're the ones who can say, like, we're not being played because of race, even though I guarantee they wouldn't say that.
That's the other part about this whole argument about, like, oh, he didn't win these, awards. It's like, well, who gives a fuck about these awards? This dude's going around the country selling out like fucking crazy. It's obvious that there's a huge chunk of people who don't give a fuck about his race because he's selling out like fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Granted, I think they're all stupid pop fans. Okay, not all of them. I'm sure there's people that listen to him that have good taste and they just have a lapse of judgment or some shit like that. I don't fucking know. But he's selling out like crazy. He's got fucking multiple millions of streams on all of his songs. Like, people are out there and they are listening. So to say that people are not caring about him because of race is just a completely nonsensical argument.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of the people who say, like, oh no, I like real, because they'll be like, I like Kane Brown, but I also like Tim McGraw, and it's just like, you're not proving your point. The fact that you because in the article they had a thing where he said, he was just like, someone came up to me and said, I'm glad you're bringing 90s country back. It's like,
what?
Like, I'm sorry. One, he's not, because that's not what 90s country sound like. And two, I hate to say it to you people, 90s country wasn't that good. A lot of what was popular in the 90s is crappy 90s pop sounding music. Like, 90s country,
shut your face.
90s country really wasn't that good. Like, don't get me wrong, obviously there are hits. Like, George Strait was probably putting out masterpieces in the 90s, because Run came out, 2001? Like, so that's an early 2000s, so that's the kind of music he was putting out.
I wouldn't say that 90s country is bad. I would just say that, like all eras of time, there were things that were popular that were not, quote, country. And so there were a lot of people who were making good country music in the 90s. Oh, yeah. Fucking Travis Tritt is one of them.
But I'm saying, like, 90s, what the 90s country people think of, they always say Shania. Shania isn't a country artist. They also think, like, Man, I Feel Like a Woman. That's not a good song.
Yeah, but I still think that, like, Alan Jackson, George Strait, Garth Brooks, Travis Tritt, Daryl Singletary. Like, there's so many artists of the 90s that were making great music. So I think the idea of 90s country is legit. Yeah. I just think that there's going to be shitheads all the time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I always just think of people, I guess it's mostly that, like, fucking whiskey riff shirt where it's just, like, Shania. Like, the shirt just says, like, Shania. It's like, don't use that as your 90s reference. Like, yeah, like, Daryl Singletary, use him as your reference. Use Alan Jack, because I'm sure Chattahoochee probably, came out in the 90s, maybe? I don't know. Like, songs like that, sure, think of those things, but this whole thing, bullshit. But the other thing I was thinking, I thought of this quote, so I looked up the article again, because it goes... With his new album, Experiment, Brown is about to become inescapable, arguably changing the future of country forever. A diehard country fan, they're not going to a Drake concert, says Brown, but those Drake fans, they're coming to him, and they're waiting outside the AMA's red carpet screaming his name. So, exactly, that's the thing. It's not country music, and the people who listen to pop music are going to come listen to your pop music.
Exactly.
That's the fucking thing people are saying.
He's making our point for us.
Exactly. Yeah, it's so stupid. And then of course, they have. I always love how hypocritical the people who defend pop country are, because they'll say, "No, country is changing. You have to accept it changes." And then you get lines like this, where, for the record, Experiment uses about every instrument in the lexicon of twang: dobro, banjo, mandolin, slide and steel guitar, fiddle, banjo. You're literally pointing out the fact that he's being country because he's using country instruments. If you're saying country is evolving and doesn't need that to be country, then stand by that point. Don't say, no, it's country because it has these instruments too.
Nope.
You're just you're beating your own argument with that, and it's so fucking annoying. Don't get me wrong, when this album comes out, I'll probably listen to it briefly through each song just to see. Who knows? He might have a hit on it. I don't know.
I'll listen to it because I listened to Walker Hayes' Boom, so I will listen.
Thank you for taking that bullet for me.
I will listen to all of them once to prove to myself that they are not country and they are shitty, because I can't blindly hate something because that is dumb. I will listen to it and then I'll say, yeah, no, this is not, that ain't it, Chief, to be meme worthy of 2018. That ain't it.
Experiment may be as much Justin Timberlake as it is Alan Jackson, but no more so than the work of Dustin Lynch or Thomas Rhett, two other people we say are in country.
Both.
People who are perfectly content with white singers, oh god, I didn't even realize it said that, with white singers, like Chris Stapleton digging into soul influences, attack Brown for tarnishing it of tradition.
I am triggered.
This is like, honestly, one of the stupidest fucking articles I've ever read. The only thing I agree with him on this is how there's a song that Kane Brown put out about the Parkland shooting, and like touching on that. That is a political thing which some people don't have the balls to do. So I, pat on the back for having the balls to talk about something so topical. But that doesn't make you a country artist.
Well, then that's the other thing, because the whole thing. In my whole argument and everything I ever say, I will never take away from him that he has an ability to sing, and he sings quite well. He just doesn't make country music. And I don't understand why this has to be such a difficult conversation. It's like the fucking NFL catch rule. We know what a catch is. Stop fucking this up. If he catches the ball, he caught the ball. Like, I don't understand why this is getting so ridiculous. Yeah. It shouldn't, I shouldn't have to be even making this argument.
It's like we've said before, how people, it's almost an insult to some people to say it's not country. It's not an insult if I say your music's not country. It's just me stating a fact that you are in fact another genre.
Exactly.
Why do you have it's this 2018 thing of I'm a woman not a man type bullshit, where it's just like, I can identify as country music, and if you don't like that, you're a bigot.
Like on the TV right now, they just they've got Kiss on the TV before the football game. They are not a country band.
Good polka band.
No one is gonna say that Kiss is a country band, and it's not insulting to them and their music to say that. I don't. Yeah. Like, what the fuck? Granted, a lot of times when I say something's not country, I will also then follow it up with, and it's garbage. That is my opinion.
Yeah,
the fact that it's not country
is
not an
followed
opinion.
by an opinion. Yeah.
Exactly. It's the country part isn't the opinion.
Yeah, it's not two separate opinions. It's a fact followed by an opinion.
Exactly.
I understand the whole evolution. I get it. country has evolved over time, but it didn't evolve genres. It just evolved how it was kind of made. Like, how it went from kind of gospel-y rhinestone music or whatever to kind of more grungy, outlaw, rockish type. It didn't change genres
and the subject matter that could be discussed. Back in the day, it was very clean cut.
It was
and
very
then as
Christian.
Exactly. And then as it's evolved, there's been different subject matter that's been broached. That's the part that evolves. I don't understand why, like, why can't we just be like, the fucking thing walks like a duck and quacks like a duck? It's a fucking duck. Like, why is this so difficult?
It's like, and it's like the whole, I get it. Country has always kind of taken from other genres. They kind of influence each other and all that shit. You can argue that all fucking day, which is fine.
But there's a difference between influence and just being it.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like we, I can't remember who it was who said it, like, as long as there's a faint banjo in the background, suddenly it's a country song. Everything, you could take fucking Drake's biggest hit, and if you put a banjo playing in the background, suddenly, it's a country song. It's like, no, it's not.
Exactly.
That's not how it works. And just Kane Brown is not a fucking country artist. And the other argument that I think it was Whiskey Riff made years ago when they were still like a nobody website, they had like Kane Brown's country. Don't you see him singing this George Strait song? It's like fucking James Hetfield took the stage after Waylon died to sing Mama's, or was it? Don't you think this outlaw bit done got out of hand? He was singing that on stage with his band. That doesn't mean he's a country artist all of a sudden.
No, that's a country song.
Granted, Mama Said is a more country song than anything Kane Brown's ever fucking put out. But...
True, and great song. I haven't listened to that in a while. I'm gonna fucking re-listen to that.
It's one of my favorite Metallica songs. But obviously because we're country fans. But it's just, I fucking hate this whole argument, and of course it's just because the second you play that fucking race card, the second anyone says no, it's suddenly, haha, fell into my trap, you're a racist.
Exactly.
It's all it is. Because the second you say you're a racist, the argument is over. It is over. You cannot come back from that, because the argument switches from arguing your points to arguing why you're not a racist.
Yeah.
The argument is over, and you suddenly go, oh, no, I'm not a racist, because here's why I'm not a racist. And that they have won the argument in that sense, because you can no longer disagree because you're a racist.
Yep.